Welcome to Lesson 3 of the ClearSense Foundation series. In Lesson 1, we learned how to evaluate an option chain using Option SE. In Lesson 2, we learned how to search the market for premium opportunities using the Best Premiums report. Now it's time to answer two practical questions every option trader asks before placing a trade. First, can I afford it? And second, can I trade it? The Price Tiers and Liquidity reports help answer these questions. Let's begin with available capital. Every trader works within a capital budget. One trader may have $10,000, another $50,000, and another $100,000. Available capital influences which stocks are practical candidates for trading. Rather than beginning with hundreds of stocks, begin with the amount of capital you have available. The Price Tiers report organizes stocks into price ranges so you can focus your research on the stocks that fit your available capital. What I love about the Price Tiers report is just how practical it is. It answers two questions. One, can I afford this stock? And two, is the option chain liquid enough to trade? So let's take an example. I'm selling a cash secured put at the top of the wheel for the first time. So I want to look at puts that are out of the money, and my price range is between $15,000 and $25,000, $150 to $200 a share. So here are the stocks that meet that criteria. And then let's look at liquidity. Can I trade it? Well, NVIDIA is highly tradable in this range with 805 option contracts, of which 46% have liquidity of 90% or more. So that's highly liquid. We would be interested in that. We could contrast that with First Solar with only 279 contracts, of which 18% are 90% liquidity or greater. So let's dive into NVIDIA and then into First Solar. Here are the NVIDIA out of the money put contracts, and you can see that most of them are dark green, meaning 90% liquidity. We have the liquidity starts to fade as we move down the page and so on, but you can see that trading this NVIDIA contract would be highly liquid and easily tradable. Now let's take a look at First Solar. Here we have the First Solar option contracts, the puts that are out of the money, meaning below the at the money line, and look at the difference in liquidity between First Solar and NVIDIA. Huge contrast. Makes a lot of sense given the volume on both stocks, but I would avoid First Solar from a wheel perspective because its liquidity is so low, both on the put side as well as on the call side. In this second example, we have a stock that we had sold a cash secured put on in the top of the wheel, and it was assigned to us. So now we want to sell the covered call, meaning sell a call that is out of the money, and the particular stock in question that was assigned is ARM, which we see right here in the list. Of these 746 contracts, these represent 746 contracts that are calls which are out of the money. And of these 746, 43% of them have bid-ask ratios that are 90% or greater, meaning that's good liquidity on this particular position. Let's go look at ARM itself now. And we can see by inspecting the option chain and coming down to the at the money line down here that a very high percentage of these contracts are deep green, meaning 90% or more liquidity. This is great. It means that this will be a tradable option chain. And you can see as we move up now that we have lighter shades of green, and then it turns into white, which means that in these positions that these contracts in here are much less liquid, meaning 70% or less bid to ask than those which are over here. Once again, on multiple views into the ARM option chain, it is a very tradable chain. Now let's discuss the liquidity report. What I like about this report is it provides me with a macro level view of liquidity across the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ. So what are we looking at? We're looking at calls right now that are out of the money. And this gives me visibility to those securities that have greater than 1,500 contracts in their option chain which are calls out of the money, between 1,000 and 14.99 calls out of the money, and so on across tiers. Very helpful, because I have found in trading that the more contracts available, the higher liquidity. It's easier to trade these different positions. Secondly, it also gives you a measure of liquidity. So if we look at AMD, it has 1,147 contracts that are out of the money calls, 63% of which have bid-ask ratios of 90% or more, meaning it is highly liquid. Let's contrast that with something like Moderna down here. Moderna has 147 contracts that are out of the money calls, but only 32% of them have bid asks that are higher than 90%. So much, much less tradable. And certainly if we drill into Moderna and get a look at its option chain, you will see that reflected immediately in what we see here. Very little dark green, lots of medium and light green and white, which tells me it's not that tradable. That is the liquidity report. Very helpful to get the macro level view of what is going on inside of the chain. Price ranges are grouped into 4 buckets. From low to high, 150 or less, 150 to 250, 250 to 500, and greater than 500. Makes it easy to quickly focus on stocks that fit your available capital. Here are the shades of green that help you answer the question, can I trade it? Again, liquidity is measured as the bid divided by the ask. Higher numbers are better, and it gives you a great sense of, when I look at an option chain, just how tradable is it? Thanks for watching. We've now introduced the 4 foundational reports in ClearSense: Option SE, Best Premiums, Price Tiers, and Liquidity. In the next lesson, we'll bring these reports together into a repeatable workflow for identifying and evaluating option opportunities. See you in the next lesson.